So hi, me again. I still look like a hoodlum, so I apologize. I'll wear a prom dress next time. I promise. I'll look better in just general. So again, kind of how I mentioned in my last video, this video is about today's volunteer experience. I knew where to go this time. I didn't have to wander around the building like a creep, so that was good. This week I was joined by another student who's also taking CNT. She's elementary ed. Her name's Allie. She was pretty cool. We didn't really interact a lot when we were working with the kids, but it was kind of nice to know. It was okay, there's a person here who does know what they're doing just as much as I do. So that was kind of cool. Today I decided to kind of mix it up a little bit, and I went and colored instead of I kind of explained the different stations in the last video. So I went to the library again, and I went to the coloring station. Had fun, colored dinosaurs. It was pretty lit. Again, around 7:40 or something like that, I was like, oh, you should probably start noticing things for class because, you're a student and you do things like that. So again, I did the thing where I was like, okay, how many girls are around the coloring table? And again, I was really surprised about how good of a mix there was between girls and boys at the coloring table. I kind of glanced back at the Lego table, which Allie was at, and there was a pretty good mix there as well. And I was like, you know what, it's probably because Allie's there, because I remembered what I noticed last week. I was like, see that, we're making it okay, busting gender norms one day at a time, I guess. But something that I did notice was had to do with the workers. So in the mornings, there are three main workers that I've seen in the past 2 weeks that I volunteered. There's a boy and then there's two girls, and usually the boy and one of the girls come into the library, and then the other girl kind of stays with the older kids in the gym, and then we all reconvene together and stuff like that. It's, yeah, I'll explain it later as it's applicable. But so the guy worker and the girl worker both started at the coloring table where I was at, and so we had a pretty big group of all of us coloring and stuff like that. And then, but once the boy worker at one point moved from that table to go play with blocks. He went to with another couple of students to go play blocks, and instantly all the boys just left. There were no more boys at the coloring table, and it again reminded me about what I thought about last week with socialization. It again struck me how much power we have, to influence what these children think and what they do, and how cool they think we are. So it struck me that they and what I didn't necessarily know then, but what I'm kind of talk about now is if the boys were there just because that guy worker was there, or if once he left and he started doing other things, they were like, oh, that looks more fun, I don't want to do that instead of color now. So sorry, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. I think it's kind of a little bit of both. They probably were especially because they know the guy worker better than I do, probably, that they're more prone to gravitate towards him and whatever he does. And also the other students that the guy worker had gone over to play with blocks with could have been their friends. That's a possibility. I don't know, but it was something that I definitely noticed, that once the guy worker left, most of the boys followed him to go play with blocks instead of color, and then I was just left with a big group of girls, which was great. We had fun. It was a fantastic time. Another thing that I noticed was, again, with the workers. So, kids basically just like, come in as, their parent drops them off, I'm assuming, or, their guardian drops them off. And so we kept on getting kind of random sprinkles in throughout the time that we were in the library. And whenever a kid would cut, like a new kid would come up to the table to color, the the workers, both the girl and the guy worker did this. They would suggest coloring pages based on their assumed gender preferences. And what I kind of mean about this was we had like 5 different coloring pages. We had the dinosaur page. We had like a kind of like a sand beach scene type thing. We had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We had a unicorn and a character from the movie Trolls. It was a girl character. It was a girl character. I haven't seen the movie, so whatever. But so 5 different coloring pages, and so when a girl would walk up, the worker would be like, "Oh, did you want to color? We have we have a unicorn. We have I think I think the name was Popsy. I can't remember, but the character from Trolls. And then we have this like sand seed, and then we have dinosaurs, and then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they would make sure that to list all of them out, but they would start with the one that they assumed that they would like better based on their gender. And then they did the reversed with boys students. They suggested dinosaurs and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first, and then unicorns and Popsy last. So it it struck me in the fact where I was like, oh, you're gendering not only like animals but also like cartoons and stuff like that. Like you're assuming that girls will like unicorns more than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or dinosaurs or something like that, which is like, I don't want to say it's fair because it's not, but when you volunteer as often as they do and you ask the same questions about to the same kids about the same coloring pages, like you kind of get into the pattern, like you kind of understand like what they're probably going to want, so you're going to want to suggest the page first. But then that kind of goes back to socialization, like why are girls and boys socialized to like unicorns or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles more respectfully. So that's all I have for today. Next week, hopefully, we can either continue on gender or kind of touch a little bit on race. So, yay. We'll see what happens.